So what practical use applications are you seeing from clients, of course, without naming client names, in the field? How can folks use AI day in and day out? Here's the meat of the matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of our clients are Microsoft clients. So they're in the Office Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And in that case, we're talking about the Copilot tools, and they really have come a long way and can do a cool thing. We touched a little bit on what we'll do in the live demo, which is creating a PowerPoint presentation, but it can do that from scratch. And you can think of it as that, although it's good, it can do a pretty decent job from a content perspective. At least for me, I know that my issue with it is getting the whole thing formatted and consistent, and then finding images that make sense and work together well. And just from a design aspect, like that piece probably takes me as long as the content. And this is something that the Copilot tool can do in seconds.
Hours and hours of work. I mean, we're talking, multiply that across the entire organization's ecosystem. That has impact, can have impact on allowing employees that would be doing this over and over and maybe getting brain farts, et cetera, et cetera. Now the AI does it, and they spend the last 5 or 10 minutes of their time working on it, correcting and updating. Real efficiencies.
Right. And reduces things like frustration and fatigue and some of those things. Because by the time that I usually get to the part that I want to do, I feel burned out from doing all this stuff that I
and it's
don't.
like at 10 o'clock at night. You're like, or midnight. And I mean, your mind's not in the right mindset then anyway.
Exactly. All this stuff that I don't want to do and that I'm not very good at. Right. So from those perspectives, from that perspective, it can be really helpful. Another one of the use cases 365 side that's pretty cool is integration with Teams. So I know starting certainly in 2020, like right around the pandemic, Microsoft had made a really smart decision in allowing everybody to have access to Teams for free. And based on that, a lot of people started using it for meetings and collaboration. And even since it's been moved to a pay-to-play model, a lot of teams have just adopted, and companies have just adopted that as their kind of de facto platform for collaboration, collaboration and meetings.
And I use the AI tool in Teams to summarize meetings. So if I have to leave, I try not to do this often, but if I have to leave halfway through a meeting, Teams can summarize the meeting, tell me who has tasks afterwards. I mean, it is crazy.
It is,
and it's accurate.
It is very cool. Yeah. So it knows who's talking, what tasks have been assigned to which person, what information might be pertinent to work on those tasks. And it's getting better and better. So some of those things where you had to purposely generate a summary now, it's included in the recording meeting. So you just open the meeting and there's an AI recap that's got all of the information in there. You can also do daily planning and like automation tasks with that. So it can do things like summarize emails. It can help draft responses to emails, either based on input that you give it or just some contextual short answers they can expand on. So you get an email that's asking you if you would like to participate in this particular like activity or meeting. You could have it draft a yes or no, or you could say maybe, but I want some more information. So with one click, you can have it automate a response for that. And you can go in and like tweak it, add your salutation or whatever, but it handles a majority of the kind of heavy lifting, especially on those quick responses to things like that, and take that off of your plate.
Let me tell you, I save 5 to 10 hours a week using the meeting planner, right? Where I don't have to worry about figuring out my schedule, finding windows. It does that all for me. I'm not kidding you, Lance. I save so much time. Think about how much time most people spend scheduling meetings. And I use an AI-driven engine for that. I see the value in my life for daily planning and tasks. Call it executive functioning skills. That's probably the one thing I spend most of my time with my team on honing, and probably the biggest time suck as a result when it's not properly implemented. So I see that every day, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers here will relate with that as well.
And our clients, right? That those are you do have certain employees or subsets of employees that tend to be really good at organizing things. But if you are like me, I'm not great at all of those things. So anything that can help me do that and take those things off of my plate just gives me so much higher functioning capacity to do the things I am good at.
Yeah.
And then take
it's
these
su-
things that I don't want to. Yeah.
It supercharges
Yeah.
you and the entire employee team at large.
That's a perfect way to think of it, is that it supercharges your employees
Yeah.
to be as efficient as they possibly can.
That's great.